Investigating a need, mark band 1, shows evidence of working with others. This was the research that you were asked to do into information about existing solutions, but as a group. So several of you should have got together and done some research into things that do what you are looking for to create for your client. So we looked at various types of profit and loss spreadsheets, but also ways of producing invoices and bills and ways of storing customer details, things like that. A statement of what you intend to do. So you've got your client, they have a list of needs. What are you going to create? What are you going to call it? How is it going to work? What sorts of things are going to be included in it? And what will it be able to do when you've finished? Some evidence of low-level planning. This would be a bullet point list or a spider diagram or something that shows that you have an idea of what you're going to do, but more importantly, the order in which you're going to do it. So this is a breakdown of your of the events that you're going to go through to go from no solution to complete solution. Basic information about existing solutions. The way I've taken this is, if you haven't bothered to be part of a group or weren't able to be part of a group, you can still do the research. However, if you've done the research with others, you do not need to produce any more evidence for that. But at least that gives you the opportunity of getting that mark if you weren't part of a group. This is the tricky one that a lot of people get stuck on. A simple design specification with information requirements identified. Now, this is actually made up of other parts of your evidence. It isn't a single slide, it's not something you need to do separately from everything else. So it includes you identifying who your client is, you identifying what it is that they need, what information will you collect, and how will you save the spreadsheet and the mail merge. Where will you save it, what will you call it, where will you back it up, that sort of thing. And success criteria, a list of things that you're going to include to make sure that your client is happy. Now, the reason that that is separate is there is several different parts of information that you need to collect, and some of these are actually part of Mark Band 2. So the less of this that you have, the less detailed it is. You're going to get stuck here on Mark Band 1. In Mark Band 2, researches the requirements for a solution. So this is more detailed than the previous example. So basically you need better research, you need more examples, you need to make sure that the stuff that you research is actually relevant for the solution that you're looking for. Works collaboratively. I want to know, what is it that you did? What is it that the other people in your group did? How did you work together? And was it a successful collaboration? Produces a workable design brief that develops further on the previous example, and the reason for that is that now you should be able to give your design brief to somebody else and they should have a pretty good go at creating the solution for you. Identifies a target audience. This is you saying who your client is, what they want, what they do, as much information as you can. You cannot copy and paste this directly out of your controlled assessment scenario sheet. It has to be put into your own words. It has to be a description that you have been able to take from that. You can fill in the gaps. The actual OCR scenario is very brief. You can come up with more information about who that person is and the sorts of things they're going to need. Records their findings. When you do your research, you need to actually say where you got the information from, who wrote it, how you found it, that sort of thing. So including URLs and things like that will help you get that mark. Clear evidence of planning. Look up Gantt charts that are a brilliant way of organizing data and events and things like that into a sequential list. You can go into more detail with bullet point lists. Just make sure that your plan is including things like how long you're going to spend on each section. detailed information about existing solutions. Well, in the other, you can just show me what they look like and go, this is a spreadsheet that does money. Now, detailed, what does it look like? How has the information been arranged? How will it help you with your own solution? A solution to the problem will be recommended. So you will say, this is what I think should happen, and that will be enough. But again, more detail. There will be planning and a design specification explaining how the proposed solution matches the requirements of the problem. So this just means that in your planning and design specification, you will include some heading things like, my client wants this, so I'm going to do this. My client wants this, so I'm going to do this. This will then be able to fit their needs because. And there will be some mention of success criteria. I've already mentioned this once. Basically, you have a client, you want them to be happy. What are you going to include? So, for instance, my spreadsheet, I have made sure that everybody's names are included. I have made sure that you know who you are, where you are. I've got a very simple system that green means okay, red means not okay. It should be easy to understand. So that was my success criteria. What are your success criteria going to be? Mark band 3, this is where things start to get really interesting. Researches the requirements and context for a solution, documenting source of information. You can see that is just a very detailed design document that researches what you need to know in a lot of detail and has lots of information included. Works effectively with others to gain and share knowledge. So I want to see each person in the group having a significant impact on the research. Now this is a little unfair because you are relying on other people, but as long as you have included your part in the research, then you can have a discussion with me about whether you think you've done enough to get that mark. Produces a design brief incorporating timescales, purpose and target audience. Again, to get this, you need to be in detail, and as you can see, these are included in other sections. So the timescales, how long are you going to actually spend making your solution? What is it for, the purpose, and a detailed look at who your client is. Produces a system specification. The system specification is a look at all of the things that your system is going to need to do. Existing solutions will have been identified and analysed thoroughly. A solution will be recommended with justification. So this time, instead of just saying, I want my system to do this, you need to include because and actually justify what you're doing in detail. The design specification will include detailed, measurable success criteria. That just means they can't be vague. They can't just be wishy-washy. It will be good. They need to be things like my solution will be able to add up all of the costs. It will be able to add up all of the income, and it will be able to work out what all the different sections are. So stuff that can actually be measured. The design specs will include detailed target audience and purpose. And you can see that these things, they're not simply just one or two slides. They have a lot of information that's included in other areas. Design specification will include user requirements with a detailed plan of the proposed solution. So there you go. They are the three sections, the three mark bands that you need to be thinking of covering to get this section of your evidence complete.